Alright, welcome to the start of a new anime review series. Well, basically the plan for this one is just to cover the first season for the show and then head back to Hamadariki. That's the plan. Once first season, back there. I'll do season 2 for this one. When I go through my next Circle series break next, I'll probably do this one first, and then probably work on one or two others. So, this anime is called The Apothecary Diaries, which aired about 2 years ago. Yeah, the same period of time that Farine aired. Though, unlike Farine, where that was 28 episodes, this one is only 24. Okay, a bit more reasonable. But because of this, I don't want to do season 2 yet because, one, it's currently airing, and two, excuse me, I probably going to chance to watch it until maybe, I'm guessing this, probably not for another month, maybe. Depends on how long it takes to get through my next Soul series I'm planning to go through. So, The Apothecary Diaries stars a character named Momo, voiced by the awesome Emily Lowe. Yep, where she is, this is sort of set in China, not Japan, not some fantasy setting like other anime I've seen, or in space like I'm the evil lord of intergalactic empire. It's not that. Nope. It's set in, what is the name of this part of the China? It is the Tang Dynasty. Well, it's a fictional country based on Imperial China during the Imperial Dynasty, but basically it's Chinese. So, Momo, that's our main character here. Yeah, she's pretty much basically like, well, the one character people think of first. Now, she, like I mentioned, she's voiced by Emily Lowe. And so we start out with her, where she is, well, working with her father at an apothecary. And she's by the way, she also has got freckles on her face. She actually explains what the heck these freckles are in episode 5. I'll get to that. So, Bob mentions, oh yeah, there's a high number of kidnappings happening. So she goes out, makes delivery, stopped by a brothel, of course. You're thinking, why stop by a brothel? Because she has to the job off for them. That was pretty much the reason for it. And the old lady was kind of like basically like Momo's grandma. They're not really related. She's voiced by Wendy Powell. And the other people there at the princesses are Perrine, Memel, and Joka. They're voiced by Karen Strange, Rebecca Denny, and Monica Valenti. So, like, they're always very happy to see Momo and make deliveries. And it almost seems like that the madam kind of wants Momo to become a courtesan, despite the fact she doesn't have the assets to be a courtesan per se. She has pointed out, though, she is very skinny, and she is, her words, flat-chested. So, as they get delivery, he's out basically picking up stuff, and then she's kidnapped by three drunks and sold to the Imperial Palace. Yep, as a servant. And apparently she does get paid, but she can't go home for some weird reason. So, at first, some laundry girl, and then we have these concubines. Yes, the word concubine is mentioned a lot in these episodes. So, we do see her the Emperor in episode 4. Actually, it's episode 3, where he is basically this guy. I've read he's described as a man in his 30s, and it's clearly the Emperor, and there's a reason why it shows in episode 3. Well, I'll get to episode 3. And there's also 4 courtesans. And 2 of whom we do get a chance to hear their English voice. Now, the narrator series is Monica Rial, making this the 46th series I've heard her in. Yes. There is Gyoko, who is voiced by Molly Zhang, who has been in such series as, I thought it was Jujutsu Kaisen. Nope, not Jujutsu Kaisen. So, these are anime that I have seen that she has been in. She is voiced a character named Lewis in Parallel World Pharmacy. She is Bohang in One Piece. I believe this is one of Bohang Hancock's sisters. She was Brita, who appeared in one episode of Saving the 8,000 Go from Retirement. Let's see. The aristocrats a worldly adventure, serving the gods who basically gone too far. Reborn as a vending machine. My Hero Academia as a character named Mina Ferocious. Look that one up. She was in the Overlord Ticket movie came out last year. Demon Lord Retry R. Freya from Complex Most Strongest. I think she was in the most recent season of the series. I Maybe Give Receptionist, but I'll slowly boss the clock on time. And that's pretty much it. Oh yeah, she's also a hardcore on Star Rail. Yep. Excuse me. There's also this very tall, beautiful, blue hair woman named Luna, who's voiced by the awesome Trina Mishimura, which I've seen many voices for her. They do have 2 out concerts, but don't really do anything with them just yet. So while she's there, all of a sudden, of course, you have these courtesans give birth to them, give birth to children, and Gayako gives birth to a beautiful baby girl, and Lulu gives birth to a son, and then the kids start getting sick, and Momo figures it out, not immediately per se, it takes a little bit of time, not too long. Figures out it's actually the white powder that these courtesans wear. It's poisonous. So she can't exactly tell them because basically her being smart would cause basically her kidnappers to get more money. And she doesn't want that at all. So she informs them by placing a flower near the windowsill, one of whom is tossed aside by the lady in waiting for Luha, so she doesn't know anything about it. In the case of Gayako, formed by the poison powder. We're also introduced to this eunuch who actually is the kind of the guy who was in charge, basically, of the place. He's voiced by Keiichi Tong, which even if you're not familiar with them, you are probably familiar with one of the most popular characters he's voiced in his career, Satoru Gojo from Jujutsu Kaisen. Yep, this is him. Yeah, where the ladies are instantly charmed by this guy, but when Momo sees him, she's repulsed by him. So then of course she feigns being smart, but turns out she basically, after revealing the whole powder responsible for it, Gayako basically, throws powder away, gets rid of it. Luha basically doesn't want to hear anything about it. And her child dies. So, in the case of Gayako, as a thank you for basically saving her life by getting rid of the poison, she's made a lady in waiting. Yep, but she's aware of the green alpha she's wearing since the start of the series. And throughout the next several episodes, she basically solves series mysteries. Though in the case of episode 5, that leads to a 2-part an arc basically involving a garden party. Yes, so after solving the whole thing with the poison powder, the very next episode. Okay, so they try to figure out what the people are getting poisoned, like soldiers getting poisoned, because the ending basically sets this up, because that's what they do. They set up the next mystery. So basically, Momo is paid. She becomes a poison taste editor, and of course, ladies and gentlemen, won't hurt anything because she's got her arm. Yeah. It's all about aphrodisiacs, this one. It's not really much this one. But in the case of the next one, this one's interesting. So there's a serious ghost haunting everybody. And it turns out it's actually a consort who's about to leave. Be handed off to a soldier, which, of course, it's about sleepwalking. Of course, you get stories, basically, about the courtesans, which Gayako is amused by. She actually does like them, of course. So it's easy to figure out that this ghost running around the rear palace is, in fact, a courtesan about to leave, like I mentioned. And she's like a dancer. And it turns out, basically, that the officer she's been handed off to is her childhood friend, which apparently the officer had feelings for her since they were children, and she feels the same way. So, and it turns out she's also a princess of a vassal state. And because of the fact that the way it works in this world is that because he's not of noble birth, he can't exactly marry her, but because he's an officer in the army, he's able to marry her, no problem. Nice little standalone there. Though the ending of this one is interesting. When the Emperor himself shows up, first time appears in the series, speaks to Gyoko and like, I'd like to speak to the apothecary, please. And, well, you have Momo meet with the Emperor. And he gives her the task of, well, Lu Hao, one of the courtesans, of course, one of the concubines, is very ill. Because she's very good with medicine. That basically she is tasked to help her. She tries multiple times to get to her, but she's strictly stopped because the person in charge is an idiot. After multiple times, Josh himself shows up and basically has him charm his way through the ladies. And it turns out the reason why she's sick because apparently the one in charge, because then she discovers, oh crap, she's wearing the poison makeup. And then she asks, who applied this makeup? And Li is like, I did. So Mo proceeds to punch her, drag her by the hair, and like pulls out drawers like, oh, here's the confiscated powder that we banned. And so she is confined. The eunuch is flogged, presumably whipped for basically, breaking the rules with this powder. He's like, this thing killed her son, and it's nearly killing her. So after all that, after her prison, slowly after removing the makeup, after being bathed, then also a steam room for her to get some of the sweat out, gives her basically some porridge, which is helping some tea, get back into shape. And there's a famous moment at the end of the episode, which basically the original light novel, basically they had this here, and I'm glad they put this in the 4th episode. Well, after she's cured, it's like she thinks, oh, maybe the Emperor wouldn't want her anymore because she recovered from ill. So then Momo asks, like, can I borrow your ear? She's like, okay. And then she whispers something to her ear, and it's basically she's got as basically her big chest. And because Momo can't use it because she has a big chest, she suggests the concubine use it, and she gets embarrassed by it. Yes! Which, by the way, she's not mad at Momo for doing it, but yeah. Basically, Momo is telling her a technique that the courtesans use to get guys to be with her. By pumping up her chest, or at least someone do somewhere her chest. And I'm like, I saw this is kind of funny. The Emperor was happy and satisfied with this, so he spends a little more time with her. And then the very next episode, well, then we have at the end of the episode where we have this guy, like, we had this, like, fire happening, and the guy suffered these mysterious, like, he thinks it's a curse, and Momo looks at, oh, it's just a rash, no problem. And they try some mystery who else got infected by it, but can't find anybody. Meanwhile, the garden party is happening. They mention that this happens twice a year, but the reason why that Giko and Lulu couldn't attend before, because they had just given birth. Not a bad idea, not a pretty reasonable excuse not to attend a garden party. So the lady is waiting, basically just a Momo, and it's revealed that the freckles she has are not actual freckles. It's dry clay. She reveals the reason why that she wears that, so they wouldn't kidnap her, and just by sheer coincidence, when she was kidnapped, the dry clay wore off. At that very moment. Yes. So she explains the whole thing. Of course, basically, Justin gives her one of his hairpins. He was like, oh, you basically betrayed me. He's like, how? Because you're no longer mine. Why? Because basically the eunuch basically has a thing from Momo. Yeah. Momo, here's the thing about the courtesans: drop dead gorgeous women. No wonder why basically the Emperor is so lucky to have these women. Um, but in the case of Momo herself, I don't think she's not ugly. No, despite her freckles, she's actually quite pretty. I mean, even if she has freckles, basically she's still quite pretty. No denying that. Yep. Oh, and at first the court physician basically is reluctant. She also prepares for the garden party these like special aprons to wear underneath the clothes because it's gonna be cold. So at first she makes them for herself, and then she makes them for the courtesans, ladies waiting, and look up the apparently the court seamstress wants in on it. Even the cook basically makes some special candy. It's very healthy, which kind of a smart idea. I gotta admit, this series is interesting so far. Um, Looking forward to reading 19 episodes left to go. Yeah, all in all, good series so far. Okay, so that's pretty much a particular review. Please be sure to like, comment, subscribe, turn notifications. Next up, we have 2 straight videos talking about the final 2 episodes of Dragon Ball Daima. Okay, let's go.